Rachel. Welcome to my channel. Today we're starting off this What's for Dinner video on Sunday. And on this day I was prepping potatoes to store in mason jars in the fridge for later use in the week. And while I was at it, I decided that it would be a good day to make potato salad since I was already peeling and cutting up potatoes. So I just threw in a few eggs with my potatoes and got them cooking. And then once they were all done, I just started on the sauce, which I always do in the bowl before I add my potatoes, because I have learned over the years that this is the best way that works for me. That way I can get that sauce, the consistency, and seasoned up the way that we like it. And so I'm doing some mayo, some mustard, some pickle juice, and some dill pickle relish. We really like our potato salad to be pickly. And so I'm just giving that a stir and getting it all incorporated, and then I can eyeball it and see if it's thin enough or thick enough. And to me, it was just fine. I added a little bit of sugar, and then here I'm just using my kitchen shears to chop up some boiled eggs in the potatoes before I add it into the sauce mix. This week was one of those really hot and humid weeks, you know, in the dead of summer that everybody seems to love, which I get it. It's 4th of July week, and so everybody's happy to have that hot weather, but at the same time, you want some really nice, cool dishes to eat because it's so super hot. Who wants to eat a hot, heavy meal? So this potato salad really hit the spot. Because this was a prep day, I decided to keep the rest of dinner as easy as I could, and we were just making some sandwiches on some 5-cheese garlic toast that you get in the freezer section at the grocery store. And so I am just adding some oven roasted turkey breast and some salami, some American cheese, some pepperoni, and I'm just going to add, you know, the things that my family likes, like lettuce or banana peppers, those kind of things to these sandwiches. So they may look a little different here and there, but basically they're pretty much the same. And one thing that I did not realize was that the other side of the toast that does not have the cheese on it does not have the garlic and butter spread that the usual garlic toast has. So my bread does gets a little overly browned on that one side, but it still turned out fine. I did add some mayo to these sandwiches while I was cooking them, which I could have added some mayo to the other side of the unbuttered bread and it would have browned up and got nice and crispy, but these sandwiches were not lacking in the garlicky and cheesy buttery flavor. It was just all on the inside. Next, I just plated up my little Italian sandwich with my potato salad, and this was the perfect summertime meal. It did not heat up our house at all. And here I'm just showing you what that cheesiness looked like on the inside with that 5-cheese spread that comes on the Texas toast, as well as all the cheese that I added to it.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distraction. this is what we waited for.
My birthday is July 3rd, so that is when my family gets together to celebrate the 4th of July as well. And the best part is I don't have to cook. I just get to eat delicious food and hang out with the grandkids.
With my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's go, let's be free with me. Be free.
Tuesday ended up being a day of recovery because I was wiped out from my birthday celebration, so I stayed home on that day and just made a pot of goulash. I just needed something that was quick and easy that I could make in one pot and be done with it. This was a week of many changes as far as the healing of my foot went, and so I was adjusting to many things and going through different pain levels. So I just kept dinner really quick and easy by browning up some ground beef that I seasoned with some salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I then added some chopped up onions and some chopped up peppers, which if you've seen my prepping videos, I have these peppers and onions in my refrigerator already prepped for the week. I added a can of diced tomatoes, not potatoes. And then what I like to do is add a packet of beefy onion soup mix. And then I added my dry macaroni noodles as well as some water to cover those noodles and get them cooked up right in the pot. My husband does not care for goulash with a really tomatoey sauce, so I try to make sure that it's more of a beefy, brothy consistency, and that's just how we like it. Now, I've gotten some criticism in the past from people saying that what I call goulash is not goulash, which I'm very aware of. But we all do our own thing in our own kitchen, and that's the glory of these days and times, is that you can do whatever you want to your food. I mean, have you seen what's going around on TikTok these days? So I don't feel like what I'm calling goulash is too far off. I mean, people are doing some really out there stuff. So anyway, I did add some tomato bouillon to my pot and as well, just to get that tomatoey flavor without upsetting my husband's stomach too much. So in another pan, I'm just making some grilled cheeses to go with this goulash. It just seemed like a good side dish. And I did not give this goulash much time to simmer or thicken up before I got my bowl ready. I'm just so impatient when it comes to goulash. And I just added my grilled cheese right in the bowl alongside of it. And of course, I had to top it with some grated Parmesan cheese, and I had some cottage cheese on the side. This is one of our favorites no matter what time of the year. On Wednesday, it was another scorcher, and I just did not want to cook. I did, however, fry up some bologna and made some fried bologna sandwiches. We had some store-bought macaroni salad and some chips and dip on the side. This was also my doctor appointment day, and I was released to walk without my boot or crutches anymore. And on Thursday, it was my son's birthday, and since he had to work, some of the family and I got together and went to his restaurant and had dinner. July sure is a busy month for us. So, moving on to Friday, I just put some Brussels sprouts that needed to be used in the crock pot, and I just tossed in some real bacon pieces. I did not want to lose these Brussels sprouts, so I wanted to make sure I got them used up. I also just wanted to kind of get them cooked down nice and soft. My husband does like them on the mushy side. I'm more of a roasted Brussels sprout person, but he does like them soft and squishy. Into another pan, I am getting some carrots that I had previously prepped into the pot. I'm seasoning them up with some salt and some garlic powder, and then I'm also adding some crushed red pepper to them. We do a lot of crushed red pepper in most of our meals. I'm also going to do about 3 tablespoons of brown sugar in these carrots just to get them sweetened up. I was going for like a glazed carrot. I added a little bit of ginger and some soy sauce. And then I just add some water to cover them and give them something to simmer in. I was thinking I would thicken them up with some a cornstarch slurry, but I did not need that after all. In another pan, I am just frying up some hamburger patties seasoned with salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Here are my potatoes. I'm just going to get those boiling. I chopped up some mushrooms and some onions. And then when my hamburger patties were cooked all the way through, I just removed them onto a plate, and then I just drained off some of that fat out of that pan, but leaving some of the bits and some of that oil in there. I just got the onions started so that they could sweat a little bit and get softened up. I give them a stir so that they are evenly in the bottom of the pan. I just sprinkled on some more garlic powder. And then I just seasoned them with some of this umami seasoning, which is a mushroom seasoning. And since this is going to be like a mushroom onion gravy, I thought that that seasoning would go well with that. And when those onions were kind of halfway where I wanted them, then I added the chopped up mushrooms and then let those all cook down. And while they're doing their thing, I just worked on getting our mashed potatoes ready. So when I had my potatoes removed from the pot, I just added some milk and some butter and some salt and some pepper. The burner is turned off of my stove, so it's not boiling or cooking this, but it is still warm, and that milk is getting warmed up. Then I add my hot potatoes back, and since we like our potatoes to be lumpy, I just used my hand mixer and got those all chopped up or mashed up. Then it was time to get the gravy ready, and I just made it like I would a sausage gravy or hamburger gravy, only I just used the oil that was in the pan already from the hamburger steaks and just added some flour and just kind of worked it until it was all mixed in and cooked through. You do not want your gravy to taste like flour, so you want to make sure that you brown that up really good. And so that's what I'm doing here. Just keep moving it around until it's all mixed in and makes like a roux. And then I'll come back and add some milk. And then I'll bring that up until it's boiling, or not boiling, but bubbling really good. And this is where the thickening will start. Just stirring that around so that it's not sticking to the bottom or the sides of the pan. And then once it starts to look like it's doing its thing, I just add the meat back into the gravy mixture and then turn that down and just let it simmer, and it will thicken as it sits. And here is the finished plate, and those carrots were so good. They had a little bit of spice and a little bit of sweetness to them, and I really like those the best. For our last dinner of the week, I am just getting this head of cabbage chopped up into workable size pieces, and I'm going to clean it up and get it into the frying pan along with some onion. It's been great being able to get up and walk and move around in my kitchen again. My doctor did warn me that it would be painful at first, and he was absolutely right. But I am still managing to get things done and healing a little more every day. All I'm doing for this fried cabbage is seasoning it up with some salt, pepper, garlic powder, and red pepper flakes. I just put the lid on and then let it simmer and while I am cooking everything else. And I'm going to get these pork chops ready by making a little bit of a dredging station here. So for the dry mix, I'm using some flour, some panko, some Italian breadcrumbs, some garlic powder, some cayenne pepper, and some garlic powder. And I'm just going to get that all mixed together in my big bowl here, and on the other bowl I have some beaten eggs, and I just add my pork chops into that egg first and then into the dry mix before adding them into my hot skillet. I had been cleaning out the fridge that morning and found a couple of stray packages of pork chops in the freezer and decided it was a good day to get those used up. It was a Sunday, having more time on my hands on the weekends, and I go back to work on Monday, so it kind of felt like it was now or never. I know that in the week coming up, our meals are all going to be super simple because I have to get back in the swing of things.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for.
To go along with this meal, I am also making some macaroni and cheese using some Velveeta cheese pouches that I had in my pantry. Like I said, I was cleaning the fridge and organizing my pantry. I found some elbow macaroni in those cheese pouches, so mac and cheese it is. I just want to take a minute to thank everyone for all of your support and encouragement while I've been recovering from my foot surgery. It really helped me out a lot, and I will be going back to work on Monday, so my video next week may be a little different, but I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and I hope you all have a good week. And until then, bye for now.